Good evening. I am Adam Gorey, and I'm here with a special guest tonight. Please welcome to Next Level Radio, the man, the dog, the legend, Mr. Jason Gann. Jason, how you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
I am good, and like you said before we went on air, you're calling us from Spain. What are you doing out there?
Yeah.
Visiting, or?
Yeah, I'm just visiting my in-laws, actually, in northern Spain, and I'm just on a farm, taking a well-earned break after a grueling final season of Wilfred. We only shot like 10 episodes in this last season as opposed to our regular 13, but in 10 weeks we shot more scenes in 10 weeks than we normally do in a regular season as well. So it was pretty breakneck, and it was a crazy schedule.
Yeah, it sounds like.
But it's all done now, and just waiting to see how it's received.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the final season, correct? The fourth and final?
Yeah.
And it is... Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was just going to say, it was an Australian show first, and that there was only 2 seasons of the Australian version before it turned over to the U.S. version. Is this the ending to the U.S. version going to be similar at all to the Australian version?
No, I mean the ending of the Australian version was pretty. It wasn't definitive at all, and I guess it isn't the American one. I mean, we still leave certain things up to interpretation.
Okay.
But it's definitely the American show is such a different creature to the Australian show. I mean, we sort of took a strong departure from the pilot. So from that time onwards, it's just it's done its own thing and barely resembles the Australian show, except for a few jokes here and there, and me in a dog suit, you know.
And then
kind of a big element of the show, I guess.
just
and the title,
just a bit, yeah. Now it also actually started out as a short originally back in like 2002, like 5 years before the Australian version, right?
It started out as a conversation. I was staying at my mate's place, and he was telling me about a date that went sort of south after going back to this girl's place, and she had this dog sitting on a sofa in her bedroom looking at him like as if to say, "What are you planning on doing with my missus?" And I just started, with a bong in my hand, started improvising as that dog, just putting him on the spot, interrogating him, and he just played along. And we didn't even really know we weren't trying to create anything. We were just, just riffing, and we just went, "This is a short film. We got to write this down." So we wrote it down, and we shot it a week later, and then it just took off. It just won short film festivals all around the world, and then we, with the money we'd won and film stock and stuff like that, we decided to make a pilot. And people would be saying to me all the time, we hear all the time that that idea will never go beyond 7 minutes, and they'd say it, like pissed off, almost as if we were like arrogant to think that it could, it was just
right.
A cheap joke. But I was like, no, this character's got legs, like. And so, even and then I wrote the pilot for the Australian show, and we shot that, and then people said the same thing, like, yeah, but how's it going to go beyond this? Like, what happens after this? And
right.
I'm like, just put it on and you'll see. And we would have continued doing one in the Australian show if but for the opportunity to, launch it over here. So, I mean, it has occurred to me that if I ever get sick of not being in a dog suit, that perhaps go back and do another season in Australia of the Australian version.
Right.
But now, I mean, we wrote that short film 12 years ago, so
Yeah.
It's been a long journey. So
Yeah,
I'm happy to do something different for a while.
Yeah, and speaking of the dog suit, you know, how difficult is it shooting it that? I mean, it looks pretty warm.
Yeah, and as it gets closer to the summer, each season when we're shooting, it gets hotter and hotter in Los Angeles, especially when we're shooting in the valley. But you know, I just just bear it because you know I know that we've got a great fan base, and I'm a Wilfred fan as well. You know, I enjoy when I'm watching the show. The last thing I'm thinking of is me getting in and out of the suit. But you know, I'm a stage trained and seasoned actor way before I was on TV. And,
yeah, exactly.
In fact, I did 10 odd years of theatre, repertory theatre, doing children's shows and getting in those kind of in and out of it animal suits and shit like that all the time, these costumes. So for me, it was kind of similar to the days when I was earning $30 a show, 3 shows a day. But I was just being paid more, and I had a much bigger audience.
Yeah, and
but I feel very lucky. I'm lucky to have the opportunity. So, as annoying as it would be getting out of this, I try to remain grateful.
I was gonna say you can't say too many people get to dress in a dog suit and hang out with Elijah Wood all day.
The funny thing is when people get dressed in a dog suit for Halloween, and they stay in it.
Yeah.
By choice.
And I'm a little bit behind. I was a little late to the party, and I kind of started catching up on Netflix. So, I mean, I think there's only 2 seasons on Netflix right now. I'm sure the 3rd will be out once 4 starts, and then I can DVR 4 and get all caught up in one shot. But one of the best things, or one of the funniest things on the show is with the dog humor, it's stuff that people who own dogs, and I've owned a dog pretty much my entire life, obviously not the same dog, but anyone who has owned a dog or does own a dog can relate to it. And I mean, just going off recent memory, I know one of my favorites from season 1 was with the laser pointer, with chasing the laser pointer. It's just so funny seeing a human act like a dog doing quirky things that my dog always does.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes as far as my physical comedy goes. And yeah, like I've done that with dogs and laser pointers as well.
Did you have
that and the pole dancing as well? You know, like most dogs.
You were pretty good at that too. Were you practicing with that? You did that pretty well.
I know. Yeah, well, there was some strippers like on the set that day, and I was like asking one to like some moves, and she'd showed me. I mean, I should have probably done a few more due to a misspent adulthood, but I got her to. She showed me that particular slide around the pole, and I practiced it a few times, and then I did it, but it was getting worse and worse each time. I already had a left shoulder injury, and then it was hurting my right shoulder from putting all the strain on that, and I knew I had 1 take left in me. So I just got them to wait and said, "Listen, show me this move again." She showed me it, and then I just used every ounce of strength I had just to stick it.
And that's the one they went with?
Stuck it. And that was the one, and I still marvel at it myself. I look at that show, I'm like, it's just perfect.
I mean, it's like slow motion.
It isn't even slowed down.
I know, that's the crazy part about it. It looks like you're in slow motion, but you're not. I mean, have you used experiences with dogs, I assume, then, in writing with influence-wise?
Look, it's been a long time since I had a dog, and I mean, I read a book when I was doing this first season in Australia called "Dogs Never Lie About Love," and I think that was the most research or inspiration I've taken as far as who this guy was.
Right.
But I always just thought of Wilfred as being a frustrated guy just stuck in a dog's body, you know. And I think people will probably anthropomorphize in my performance as much as they do if their own dogs. I mean, sure, we do a bunch of dogisms. Really, I'm never acting like a dog. You know, I'm acting like me in the human translation of dog behavior.
Yeah, I haven't met too many dogs that smoke, so.
But you've blown marijuana smoke in numerous dogs' faces. Yeah.
Yeah, right. and speaking of that, speaking of the drug references and stuff, being on at it's on at 10 o'clock, and the season premiere, by the way, in case I hadn't mentioned it, is tomorrow, Wednesday, June 25th at 10 p.m. on FXX. Being on that late, I mean, did that really help you in allowing for more freedom using language and the drug references and stuff like that?
Not really. I mean, look, we could have. In fact, we never say fuck on the show. We never say fuck, and which was weird for me because with the network or in Australia, SBS, we totally said everything. You know, like in fact, Wilfred said "cunt" every episode. That was like I wanted to make sure it had to be in every episode. Like that was one of my rules. He had to say it every episode. Yeah, it'd never been said. It'd never really been said on TV. Certainly by a guy in a dog suit in the context that we were using it. So then when we were coming to America and it was like, you're never going to say that, right? Well, even though HBO, certain networks of HBO have that kind of language. Right. I know they use it on Deadwood and also Game of Thrones. But with Fox, it doesn't really work that way. They've got generally they bleep it. But FX thought that stylistically, Wilfred isn't really a bleep type show. Like to have a beep in it or a mute sound would actually distract from the reality of the show that we're in. So I thought that first that was a handicap. In fact, I actually think it made us think harder and work to make the show darker and crazier without having to just go to the easy old swear words.
Yeah, so it's easier to get a laugh.
Show, yeah,
that way.
I much prefer it now. I much prefer it. So yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of freedom, but I also get away with a lot more because I'm in the dog suit than any other human character would. It's almost like an animated character in that respect because I've got the nose in the dog suit. There's just things that I'd just never be able to do on television as a human.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, before we get wrapping up, I know you got to get going. It's after 12:30 a.m. where you're at. Once the show's done, airing and everything, do you have any future projects coming up?
Yeah, I've got an animation with Fox at the moment that I created, and I'm developing that with them. That I'm pretty excited about, and every season I always create at least one show and develop one show that's which I could star in should Wilfred get cancelled. So I've kind of got a back catalogue of several shows, and I've got another 2 shows. I've got 3 new shows that I'm developing. One is already the concept sold and to Fox, and I'm working on, but the other 2 are fresher, and I'll be pitching them when I get back to the States.
Can you tell us what the Fox one is called and what it's about, or is that still kind of under wraps?
The Fox one, well, it hasn't been announced, but I know they're going to announce it soon.
Okay.
So I probably shouldn't. but
that's okay. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah. You just never know.
Just wear the dog suit next time you go in. You can get away with it.
Networks generally like to first to make big statements. So like a true dog, I'm master is.
Well, once it starts, once it gets to that point where it's airing, we'll have to have you back on so you can actually talk about it.
definitely. I'll be happy to do that.
All right. Well, I know you got to get going, but real quick, before we end interviews, what we usually like to do here on Next Level Radio is do what's called a rapid fire. It's basically just a few quick questions, kind of just fun ones, short answers, kind of a little bit. Some of them are to get to know you a little better. Some of them are just fun questions about the first one's just a fun question about Wilfred, actually. If he were a different animal, what animal would you have gone with?
A cat.
A cat? Okay. Well, that'd be an interesting suit to see, the cat suit. And I forgot to mention this, and like I said, I'm a little behind, so I mean, if it's spoiling anything, you don't have to mention it. Do you ever actually find out what kind of dog Wilfred is?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Because that's been like, there's that one point in the first season where they show a dog sitting outside, and Elijah, I think it was like very beginning of the season, Elijah Wood thinks it's Wilfred like the next morning, and you're like, oh, that's the kind of dog? Yeah. And then he just walks up behind you, and you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Second one, what's your...
No, go
ahead.
I mean, not to give... Yeah, I'll keep going. Next question.
I was just going to say, what's your favorite board game?
I'm just going to have another spoiler. I gotta make sure I don't have any spoilers. But yeah, what's the next question?
Your favorite board game?
Monopoly, I guess. Oh, I like Battleship.
Oh yeah, Battleship's a lot quicker than Monopoly too.
Yeah.
Last one. If you could switch places with someone for a day, who would you want to switch places with?
Elijah Wood. While he's shooting Wilfred.
Yeah, I was going to make him wear the dog suit instead of you.
It would just be really funny just to see it from his perspective.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, and I almost forgot to bring this up. I think it was, I don't remember what season it was, but I know I had seen something about one of the episodes you guys ended up actually having to kiss because of the whole dog-human thing.
That's right, yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was, I was hoping we'd get nominated for some MTV Kiss of the Year or whatever, but no one seemed to notice that we were like tonguing each other, making out. It was pretty funny. Yeah, it was just we've done a lot of crazy fun things together, and we just notch them up to another one, and I forgot about that. But yeah, each year we always try and do something a bit dangerous.
Yeah, it was definitely hilarious.
Not many men can say they've done that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of women out there jealous too. That you get to make out with Elijah Wood.
It's off my bucket list.
All right. Well, I want to make sure everybody checks out Wilfred. The season 4 final season premiere is tomorrow at 10 p.m. on FXX, and make sure you check out all the seasons. And like I said, if you haven't started watching yet, now's the time to start watching it. Go on Netflix and catch up, or buy the DVDs, because I'm sure there's probably some interesting extra features, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jason,
we really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we really want to thank you for coming on. Check us out, nextlevelradioonline.com, for more shows, interviews, guest spotlights, and we just actually covered Comic-Con this past week, so we'll be having posting some pictures and videos from that. But we will catch you later. Make sure you tune in next time for our next guest spotlight. Thanks, guys.